Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. First up is meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions, or did anybody look over it, have any comments? I looked over it. Everything looked good. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, next up is consent agenda. Kristen, you looked over these, went through them. Everything looked good?
Yes, just a quick reminder. So to be eligible for the consent agenda, it has to be a residential application, simple application, has to be complete and accurate, and involving very few trees or anything like that. So those all meet the criteria.
Got it. Thank you very
consent.
much. So I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have new grading permits. Is anybody here from 5A, Matson Ford Road? Carol? Hi, welcome. If you could introduce yourself and give us a brief description of the project, please. And if you have plans, you can put them up. You're putting artificial field in, and this is at the field at the very back, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
This is,
okay.
For those, hi, my name is Hugh Kazza. You've seen me here before for IFIN and stuff. So what we're here tonight is that we have a stormwater management grading permit plan for the new turf field at the stadium, which is located behind the school. Again, this is pretty much a straight-up replacement. There's an existing natural grass field there now that hasn't really been used that terrible lot because of the condition of it. So the school has gone through a comprehensive fundraising campaign to get funds to build this, and the desire is to taking, once we go through the process of starting construction sometime maybe later this year. So.
Perfect. So just a couple questions. You're going to be coming in and out through the existing driveways and through that parking lot?
Correct.
There's no trees being removed?
No trees being removed at all.
Soil, is that being hauled away, or is it staying?
With the soil that's being hauled away is because of the stormwater requirements nowadays with the underground basins. We have underground basins, and that's soil there. That's being replaced by stone. No.
And then, I guess you're not doing any planting or anything like that with trees?
No
You guys are
plant.
welcome to plant trees if you want.
I'll let Dr. Scott know that.
And is there any trees in the limited disturbance?
No, none whatsoever.
Anybody else have any questions regarding this? I played lacrosse there. Good field.
Okay.
Seth?
Just don't forget your mic, that's all.
Thank you. All right, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Just
211 Matson Ford?
Yeah, so
Yeah, we got it.
no, 1-8.
Oh, yeah. Does any public comment? Yeah, sorry. Is there anybody here for 118 Beech Tree? Hi, welcome. I think this was supposed to be approved for consent, but it wasn't on time.
Yeah.
So if you just want to go through the motions real quick since you're here, introduce yourself, tell us about the project, how many
Definitely.
trees coming down, stuff like that.
Yep. So my name is Harry Heather-Gergel. I'm a licensed professional engineer. This project is an existing home with a small addition going on in the rear yard. We're not proposing to take down any trees. There's less than 1 cubic yard of dirt that'll be excavated for installing the proposed infiltration bed. All that dirt will stay on site and be spread to establish grading. So looking at the plan, the center of the plan, we can see a brown rectangular shape. That's the existing home. We can see some rock piles and gravel surrounded in red. Those are the areas for removal. If you're looking at sheet 2 of 4 of our plan set, Again, in the center of the plan, we see a light brown rectangular shaded shape. That's the existing home. We can see our proposed erosion and sediment pollution controls. As well as that, I would like to point out in the bottom left corner, you can see all tree protection fencing. In the bottom right corner, we can see tree protection fencing per the township detail and per the township ordinance to protect any trees on the site. We're not affecting any trees again. And then flipping to sheet 3 of the proposed plan, we can see the proposed improvements. Again, there's no impact to the trees or tree protection fencing. You can see around the corners or erosion and sediment pollution controls you can see around the site in the appropriate locations. Any questions?
Cool, sounds good. There was, when I looked over this, one tree in the back corner there, it's a 40-inch oak.
Yep.
There's no grading going on. You're not
Nope.
pushing any soil down there?
Nope.
The infiltration bed is not down in that area,
Nope.
nothing?
Yeah,
Okay,
the infiltration bed is going to be located in this area.
perfect. I have no other questions. Anybody else? Any public comment? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. All in favor?
Second.
A second? Yeah, and all in favor? There we go.
Aye.
Good, thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Have a nice
Have a
evening.
good day. Okay, next up we have, that was Beech Tree, Wild Haven Road. Anybody here for that? Good evening, if you could just introduction and introduce yourself and tell us about the project, please. Thank you.
Hello, I am Michael Nealio from Anthony and Sylvan Swimming Pools, and we will be installing an in-ground concrete pool at this residence.
All right, is there any, what's up?
Is it?
And no trees are being removed here?
No, no trees are being removed. Our access for construction is up the driveway and then off around the front yard. We can't use the driveway all the way in because there's a big masonry wall that drops off, so we can't get to the backyard that way. There are no trees that we're taking down. There's a couple close to the access. One, as you see, when you are coming off the driveway to go around the front yard. 24-inch tree there that we are staying clear of the drip line. The access will be roped off, and the trees will have the legal tree protection fencing around them as per it states on the plan. And then the only other trees, when you come up around the corner of the house about to enter the backyard, there's two there, 8-inch and a 24-inch, both again outside the drip line, and both will have the tree protection fencing around them. There's no trees in the backyard or anything close to the pool project itself.
Cool, thank you. Are you removing the soil or keeping it there?
Most of it's probably staying there with the grade.
And nothing near any trees or anything?
No.
Not grading near any trees?
No, the grade's off the back of the pool, which there are no trees off the back there.
Okay, gotcha. Anybody else have any questions? I can't even see it, so.
Hi, I'm sorry to ask you to do this. Could you just do me a favor and just sort of use your pen or something to show us where the driveway is and where you do plan on entering and exiting?
So
The property.
Here's the road, and then here's the driveway coming in that comes up to the house. We're coming in and then making a left across the front yard here. So this blank area with the two lines running there is the access. The one tree is right here, there's the driveway, and then the 8-inch is there, and the 24-inch is there. And then the only other trees are down here, but they're off the property. There's nothing back here.
Okay, thank you.
And you said, you did say you're putting tree protection around, but is that shown on the plan as well?
Yes, there's 2 pages to the plan here, and the second
So
page
it's on
has
there.
all the
Okay, cool.
required Radnor chain link details.
Thank you.
In the agenda packet, I see the tree
It's on there.
protection. Just got to zoom in. Looks
Got
good.
it. Anybody else? Public comment? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Cool. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Villanova University, 610 King of Prussia Road. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. If you could just tell us a bit about the project and
Yep.
introduce yourself, please.
Karen McManuel, Senior Project Manager at Villanova. So this is over on the Cabrini campus. There are three houses right now on the campus that we're looking to demolish. And these are driveways up there right now. So this is the demolition plan, planning to remove all this impervious in the houses. There are 3 trees that we're looking to remove. These 2 are 24-inch locust trees, and this is a 12-inch tulip tree. Just to let you know, there are 3 trees near the houses right now that we want to save. This is a very large pine tree that we're looking to save, so we're told the contractor to keep foundation wall just to make sure the tree's good. These 2 are a little clear of the house, but we're protecting those trees too. We'd like to keep them. They're nice trees.
Okay.
So once the houses are demolished, one of the primary goals here is to get ADA access. This road here is the residential road where all the dorms and the residents live. There's a residence here, so we're trying to get them ADA access up to the center of campus. So this will be pretty level coming across here to connect these 2 residents, but this will take them up to the center of campus. So we are proposing a handicap access ramp up through. It's a little wooded through here, but we're trying to wind in between some trees. And we're looking to plant 7 new trees since we're removing the 3. And in the center here is like an athletic area that'll be opened.
For the purpose of this, is it just for the demo, or is it for,
It's for the whole
The whole
plan.
thing.
Yeah, we need
Gotcha.
a grading permit for the demolition of the houses.
got it. And so the path, that's going to be an ADA compliant path?
Yes.
And there is some trees around it, so are you going to be, I don't see any, is there tree protection around those trees, or
There
is
is,
there tree
and
protection right up through the path there?
there is protection, and I did not print off the ENS plan. I'm sorry about that.
So I just make sure that's included for,
We do have tree protection.
okay. And there's no other trees going through, you're just going to wind around all the trees to
Yeah,
preserve them?
a lot of this is really brush area through there that'll need to be cleaned out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So there is space to get in between the trees.
And can you, I can't see from here, but what trees are you planting?
So
Do you
we're
have a table?
looking to plant 2 ginkgo trees, 2 tulip trees, and 3 little leaf linden trees.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what size were the trees coming down?
There was 1 12-inch and 2 24s.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. Anybody else have any questions?
I found the sheet with the tree protection. It all looks good.
It's all good.
Just wanted to note that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, we have 3 Meadowcrest Road, land development of 2 lots. Good evening. If you guys could introduce yourself and just tell us about the project, please.
Good evening. My name is James Slattery, and I'm the owner of this property.
Good evening, Kevin Frook from Cornerstone Consulting, the engineer for the project. This is a land development subdivision plan. It's before you. They're proposing to have, right currently it's 1 lot with a house. They're proposing 2 houses for this property. So the property is being fully redeveloped. It's not a very large property, but it is compliant with zoning. So we're looking at 2 houses that are there along with stormwater systems. You can see there's a numerous amount of trees. Going through the existing, bring that up, plan, there are 21 trees being removed. They're more into the center of the site where the development is occurring. The ones around the outside are being retained. As you can see on this plan, as you can see on this plan, you can see the existing dwelling unit that's here with the driveway, and then the trees that are to be removed are shown with an X. And those range in size.
Gotcha. And does it show how many trees are total on the lot? Do you have
There
that
was a
in-
chart, there's 26 trees total.
So you're doubling it up then, or you're with the new ordinance? I think I
Yes,
saw.
yeah, so
right?
we are, the way it was calculated, there are 65 trees required. We're proposing 63 trees. As you can see, it's already kind of full. 2 fee in lieu of, and we are looking at 2 across the street. So that's something I believe, Jim talked about last time, and I don't know if it's been done before. So kind of one thing that we're looking at from the Street Tree Commission is he owns the property across the street as well. Can we plant 2 to 4 trees on his property, or would you rather have the fee in lieu of?
That was a discussion that we had. I came here in front of the Shade Tree Commission quite some time ago, maybe 9 months ago or something. This is my primary residence right here, and it's a very tiny little street right here. There's only a total right now of 3 houses, mine, this one that I own, and then the neighbor's house here, and it dead ends. So there's nothing there, and what I would like to do is plant a couple of additional trees on my side, these 2, and if you require 2 more, I'm glad to do that, because I would like the screening between here. You can't see it, but there's one house here, and then there's Lancaster Avenue over here. So I would be very interested in having the screening, if that's something. It was mentioned before, and what the comment that came back is we've never had that request before because somebody owning on both sides and adding there. But the comment was, I don't think we're going to have a problem with it. One of the reasons I'm here also, just to get clarification on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was going to ask if we can just go back to the compensatory plantings.
Yes.
So you said 65 are required, and 15 of those need to be large canopy.
Yes.
I just didn't hear you confirm that. Okay.
Yes, so there's 9, 6, and another 2 evergreen.
Hey, can you go through the list of trees that are being planted, please?
Certainly. So there are 6 white oaks, which are designated by this symbol, so you can see those
6.
as you go through. You have the
Green giants.
giant green, yep. So that's the row you have along
Uh-huh.
that property line, and then some infill here. You have your silver lindens,
How many of those?
9 of those.
9 of those. So that's 15.
Okay, and then you have your autumn gold ginkgos, and then your Japanese flowering cherries.
And so the street trees are for the saldo, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and you said you're required to plant 65?
65, yes.
Is that total with saldo?
That's,
Or,
it says total with saldo, yes.
okay,
I would also add that most of the trees that are coming down, the existing ones, are pine trees.
gotcha.
And there are a couple of ash trees.
So they're over the 50% threshold of clearing.
But they have that in their
Yeah.
notes, right? Yeah. And so you're planting 6, 35, 9, that's 50. How many ginkgo is that, 5?
Ginkgos, we have, where do we put them here? 5, yes.
So you're planting 62 trees? Is that correct?
Should be 63. With 62 plus the existing street tree to remain. So planting 62, yes.
Planting 62. And for the compensatory trees on your table, how many does it show that you're required? Not minus saldo, just for the trees
So,
you're
right, so
removing.
tree clearing, so
I just can't see, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so 6 to 18-inch DBH removed, 2 replacement trees. So 19 to 29 are 4 replacement trees, and then 30 or greater are 8 replacement trees. And that's where the 6 are being the large canopy trees. So if you go through the chart, 6 to 18, to be removed are 15, so times 2 trees, so that's your 30. 19 to 29 were 3 to be removed, times the 4 tree requirement, that's your 12. And then your 30 plus 1 tree is being removed, so that's 8 trees, 6 being large canopy, and you have 8 trees, and then 6 large canopy trees of that.
So 50, yeah, got it. So the calculations are good, it looks like, right? Everybody agree?
I had 65, I guess that was my own.
That's with Saldo, though, I think they're
Oh, okay.
including. Okay, and the 2 trees on the opposite side of your house, are they included in that chart?
They are currently, these 2 are included.
They are included?
They are included.
Gotcha.
So there is the 2 tree deficit that is fee in lieu of, and then there's the 2 here. So if you feel that that's not something that you can do, we can take that off and do 4 trees, fee in lieu of, or put
Gotcha.
all 4 trees across the street.
Okay. I think that lines up. The tree protection, I just want to get through the other stuff real quick.
Yes, certainly.
Tree protection, is there any trees that you're preserving?
So there's tree protection shown around, this large tree, this large tree. You have tree protection around these guys here. It's just hard to see with
Gotcha.
the rendering, but,
All right. And I assume all the work's coming in from Meadowcrest Road?
yes.
Perfect. Okay. Looks, I have no more questions, but in my opinion, if you wanted to plant 2 on your side of the property, I'd rather see trees go up than get fee in lieu of. So open it up to whatever.
I'm aligned with that. I agree.
Would you guys be able to do 4 trees? And instead of the fee in lieu of,
Yeah.
just plant the
That'd
trees?
be great. So we could add 2 trees on that side.
Yeah.
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 Does it, I own all the way up through here, and this is already a very wooded section. Can we put just nice, large trees up in, like, for example, here and here to continue the screening?
I think you have your large canopy trees
Okay,
already in there, so you're not required to plant more, I don't believe. So you could plant whatever type of
something
tree
like a
you wanted.
magnolia or something that blooms all year
Yeah.
round,
But
I
if
would
it's
s-
wooded, make sure you're planting the right
right?
tree for the area.
I would say for Saldo, it is specific to planting street trees.
Yes.
Yeah,
But,
but that's on the other side,
yeah,
right?
but any of the shade tree commission required trees, you can plant them anywhere.
Anybody else? So I will make a motion to approve, and if you have to change the wording on your application to say you're going to plant all the trees instead of do a fee in lieu of, just make those changes.
Okay.
And I will see if I have a second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
guys. Okay, next up is 118, 120 North Wayne Land Development. Is anybody here? Good evening. So this is on North Wayne Avenue. It's
So
right
this
in
is
the
on
middle.
North, yeah, this is on North Wayne Avenue. It is on, if you're heading, looking north, it's on the left-hand side. It's an existing restaurant, 118 North, and a dry cleaner. So what they're looking to do with this project is to tear that down. The building encompasses the entire lot. So they're looking to tear that down, rebuild the building with similar uses, but it's a 2-story building now. So there's no trees on the lot now. It's commercial, paved and building. There are 2 street trees that are existing along North Wayne Avenue. So they appear to be in pretty good shape.
And those 2 trees out front wouldn't be touched,
No.
correct? Yeah, I've got nothing additional.
Ask for public comment. I forgot last time, but anybody here for public comment for this project? Nobody? I'll make a motion to approve. All in
Second?
favor? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
There we go. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Okay, next up is 656 Clyde Road, I think. Anybody here for that? Yep. Thank you, welcome back. This is just, is there any changes or anything
I
in
just
it?
wanted, all I wanted to show was that one of the comments made, and actually we have Mike Dunn here, the arborist. What I've done here is
This is Ethan Elementary, the
Ethan
new school that's
Elementary.
being built.
where this is the plan that you have to the left with the yellow highlight are the new species that we used to replace the species, which was the original plan you saw back in January to the right. Those are highlighted, those that were removed are highlighted in orange. So to show you that we have updated the list. We also had to, per the Saldo, actually put some information in here for the landscaping, the shrubs, et cetera, in the parking lot as well. So that is really the only change since January. We updated those, so.
I looked over this, I thought it looked good. Anybody have any questions, comments?
I just was wondering if we could clarify the total number of trees on the lot and then the percent being removed of that total? Do you have that anywhere?
Well, yeah, with the, we have tree, I can't remember what that number was, Mike. Yeah, right here.
I think there was like 900 some trees, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's,
It's 1,976 total trees that were quantified pursuant to Saldo standards. So,
Okay, thank you.
but not all of those are heritage trees, though.
Anybody else?
No, I think we went through it pretty thoroughly last time, so appreciate it.
Thank you. Any public comment? Nobody out there? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good luck, guys.
you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, 5H. Next up is Eastern University Land Development Final Plans. Hey, welcome. If you could just introduce yourself and give us another
Good evening.
description about this. Thank you.
Mike Rokosny from Site Engineering here on behalf of Eastern. This is for the final land development for the gymnasium addition, in addition to Eagle Learning Center, Centennial Hall, and the Sparrow parking lot. This exact same plan was in front of you for preliminary land development, and we're just coming back for final. We've
Final.
made no changes. I can just run through the project for you.
There's no changes whatsoever.
No, no plan changes.
Does anybody need to go through it again? No? Anybody? Anybody have any? Huh? Yeah. But nobody up here? Okay, and is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to make a motion to approve since nothing's changed and it all looked good last time.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Nice.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up is land development for 204 to 208 Stratford Avenue and Forest Lane. This is the Hamilton Estate, I believe?
Yes.
If you could introduce us and tell us about the project. Thanks.
My name's David Sanders. I'm with Site Engineering Concepts. I'm the professional engineer on the job. So the history of this project is, I believe, it may have been in front of you maybe in 2019, and that's about the last time. But it's gone through various layout changes with conditional use, with townhouses, and it is now in a settlement agreement now between the commissioners and the owner and that. So the project is about 7 acres. It's on the southwest corner of Stratford and Eagle Road. There's going to be 2 connections, one off Stratford and one off of Eagle. It's a 29-lot neo-traditional subdivision. That's what we're going to be doing. So we're in with preliminary land development subdivision now. Stormwater management throughout the site. And I will get to the landscape plans here. Currently on the site is 3 residents actually. There's 2 on the main piece on Stratford and 1 on Forest Lane. This is the existing conditions plan. The tree inventory is listed there on sheet 11. There's a greenhouse and 2 residents, and then the 3rd resident on Forest. Basically, with this layout, the trees to be removed will be 259, and the landscape plans were done by Bern Panzak of RGS. So here is the landscape plan. Proposing 446 total trees for the replacement, the street trees. Everything's on the charts on the right on sheet 12. We're going to be doing significant screenings from the neighbors to the west on Grant Lane, and some state fence, solid fence, and some 8-foot tall cedar fence, privacy fence on the west side there. So,
And this is the property that backs up to Spread Eagle Village?
yes,
It is,
that
okay. So
property
it's the
is
main
exact
house,
to
right?
the south, directly abuts it. Yes.
Gotcha. And the plans, have they changed since 2019, or are they,
Yeah, that was just an initial.
so it's all changed?
Before conditional uses is completely different. Yeah.
Okay, and are you using the new calculations for,
I believe that was done in the compliance sections. Yeah.
do you know how many trees total are on the property?
That was on the.
There was an ordinance change, so I'm just trying to figure out if that
Yeah,
was.
the tree inventory shows, it's 388 in their total, but that did include a lot of the ones right on the property line that were buffers from the shopping center and the.
So 388 total, and they're using the, they're using the new ones?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
67% clearing percentage, so that puts them.
Right, but it's the calculations.
Should we review it?
Yeah, what's the easiest way to review this? So how many trees, 6 to 19 are coming out? Do you have?
191.
And how many compensatory trees are you planning for that?
191.
Okay, so it's supposed to be double that, right?
Okay, that's the.
Or not? Seth, you're,
Mhm.
it's supposed to be double, 2?
So the total trees on the lot were what did you say?
88,
388, and the trees coming out
259.
259,
So
so
it's
that
over
is
50.
more than 50%.
Yeah.
I have total required is 446, and of that, 170 need to be large canopy, based on the clearing percentage.
Yeah, so there was a ordinance change, when was that done? In
October of last year.
October, so if the plans were done around that time or before, you might not have had it in there. And for a project like this, everything needs to be up to par, you know? Especially since that's all we're dealing with is replacement trees. But we're sure there's no other calculations that you have on there that would be
There
updated?
are some large canopy trees on there, but not to this.
Not to
the
this,
significant.
okay.
benefit.
So instead of going any further, I'm going to suggest we table this. I'm going to make a motion to table, so you guys could come back next month and have the correct calculations, so we can see what's going in and where they're going in.
And I guess the other thing to note, is there a breakout of Saldo versus shade trees?
I see the buffer, the street trees, and then the replacement trees.
And those are all separate requirements,
Yes.
so just make sure that those are also
Let me just
included.
before we do this, how many 19 to 29-inch trees are coming out?
51,
And how many replacements for that? Do you have a number?
153.
Yeah, so that's 3 times 2. That's the old ordinance.
Okay.
So we'd have to see the new calculations and then the new compensatory trees and where they're going to be located on the plan. I just don't see any way around it. It's too big of a project not to have that. So I'm going to go with the motion. I'm going to make a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, and if you want to, I know John's here, you can contact me, Ricky, or anybody. We'll
Great.
go over the new stuff with you if you need it.
Great, okay, sounds good.
All right,
Great,
cool.
thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Sorry about that, but that's the way it goes. And there's no public comment, I don't think, on tabling, is there? Or, yeah. Were you guys here for that? No. Yeah, okay. So next up, we have clearing permits, is that correct? Yeah. Ivan Avenue? Correct. All right, so this is going on here, I guess, and you're putting an antenna up.
That's correct. Good evening. My name is Christopher Schubert. I'm the attorney here tonight on behalf of AT&T. I'm with the law firm of Rieger, Rizzo, and Darnell. And this is the tower which is right outside the township building here. And what AT&T would like to do is put antennas along with the other providers on that tower. In order to do that, to fit within the compound, they have to expand the compound area. And that would be indicated in this area, just on the north side of the existing compound. And again, just immediately to the north of that, are located a series of 6 white pine trees that have been that have grown fairly substantial in size. Caliper is between 6 and 7 inches on those trees. Now, technically, only 4 of the trees would need to be removed to accommodate grading and the compound expansion. But the concern with the arborist and the codes official was the potential impact on the root system of the other 2 trees. So there's a total of 6 white pine that are located at that location. The recommendation from the township consultants is that there should be 9 compensatory plantings. Given the fact, and if you can take a look, again, as to the location, this is at the back of the township property. There is substantial mature trees right up against the township building. And the thought was that in lieu of compensatory planting, the commission consider a fee in lieu for these.
For all 6?
For all 6. Which I understand, and maybe this has changed, it would be $500 per tree for a total of $4,500.
In my understanding that you're saying since it's already so wooded there, we don't need to replace those 6 trees?
Yeah, it's at the back of the building. There are still existing trees at that location right up against the building. There is a substantial tree line which is to the south of the township property where the residential area is. So there's really not much visibility, and we're certainly not going to be concealing the tower location. And actually, this whole area on the western side of where the compound's located is already open anyway at that point. That's, again, you can see that.
What's the township's view on plantings back there and maintenance and everything else? John or Ricky?
I mean, we've taken down numerous ash trees over the years. There has been a couple white pines that have declined beyond recovery that have been removed. Again, this is a tower. Obviously, it has to have clearance around it. We could possibly use the trees over at Enke Park, which is right next door. We've taken some trees down over time, so either the fee in lieu of, and those funds can go towards Enke Park, or Mr. Schubert and his client can provide the trees and plant them at our request over there.
I mean, my only concern is the screening of that area. I mean, those white pines provide decent screening today. Is that true? Like, without them, could you see it more so from the street down here than if they were removed?
I don't believe so, no. It's not really
Okay.
providing any screening.
Okay.
Can you pull that overhead photo
Sure.
up again? So this is AT&T is providing the trees? Is that
That's correct.
Not the township?
That's correct.
And where's your area that AT&T leases out?
So, and let me show you a site plan then. It's within that red rectangle.
That's the only area. God bless you.
So this is a plan of the existing compound features, and you can see the 6 white pine trees that are located here. And it's a rather odd-shaped compound that's fenced, traced around the tower, and also the two other providers, which are just south of the tower. And in order to fit the AT&T facility within, there has to be an expansion of the compound, so AT&T is proposing a bump out on the existing fence line, which would immediately impact these 3 trees, and again, with grading and the concern with the drip line and the root system, that it would also impact these other 2 trees. So the recommendation was to do, to consider all 6 trees taken down.
Okay. And could you put that overhead
Yes.
photo back? Thanks.
And I believe, Mr. Schubert, correct me if I'm wrong, the compound and the fencing is more for a safety and security issue that I read earlier, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay. And so 6 trees are all under 19 inches. So is it 500 per tree?
Yeah.
Is there any chance, like Seth had mentioned, it does look like there's going to be you're going to see up there a little bit more. Is there any chance to put in some green giants or something to do some screening
Yeah, sure.
in your area?
Either combination, if you wanted all, we thought, again, a fee in lieu would make most sense, but if there are a few of the green giant, that species that provide more screening and buffering, we could certainly consider planting those up in there. It would be out, we also wanted to keep it within the lease area as well. But again, it's township property beyond the lease area, so. But I know that the tower owner has the responsibility for maintenance within the lease area.
So the tower is not you can't plant up there?
No, well, again, we don't control the lease area. We would control the area that we would be leasing from the tower owner. Now, the lease area for the tower owner that accommodates all the other providers is a larger area. It's about 5,000 square feet or so. We would certainly consider compensatory plantings in that area. If it would be a combination of, I don't know if we would fit all 9 within that area.
Right.
That's
So
proposed.
I'll open it up. It doesn't matter to me if.
James, could I jump in for a sec? I just want to make sure, excuse me, very funny. So the one thing I would like to suggest is, whatever recommendation the board gives, we have a chance to also vet it with Mr. Norsini, because I think there may be something underground as to why he didn't maybe want something replanted there. But I just want to make sure with him that isn't the case. So if there is, the green giants that you want planted, and Mr. Norsini knows that's fine, that'll be safe in that area. I just want to make sure that, we could send an email around, so that everyone's on the same page as to why that would happen. So I just want to make sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm up for either way. If you guys want to do compensatory, but
I
let
like
everybody else decide.
I like the fee in lieu of, that way it gives us flexibility to figure it out later. Because it is really, the township's decision with some of our influence, but I want to make sure it's right for everyone. How tall is the new structure that is going in?
For the equipment on the ground, it's going to be on an elevated platform. The cabinets are typically no higher than 6 or 7 feet in height, but it is going to be on a platform, so maybe 10 feet.
Okay, so like less than 1 story, if
Yeah.
that. Okay, so it's not like a huge, tall structure. I mean, personally, I think it would be nice to screen it, just to keep the visibility of it kind of similar to what it is, but I think that can be figured out later.
Yeah, if we have the fee in lieu of, we can still plant a screen if in front on township property. So I'll make a motion to approve with fee in lieu of, which is 500 per 6, so 3,000 total.
Well, and actually, I thought the recommendation, John, was 9 trees. I want to use my client's money on that, but I think the recommendation ultimately was 9 trees.
If you guys want to do 9 trees, that's fair to me.
Well, so it was 6 trees,
9,
8 to They were all under 19-inch?
They're all under 19-inch, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to make the recommendation, but if you guys want to make the recommendation or somebody else does, just because I go by the ordinance.
Build 9 trees is acceptable compensatory or a fee in lieu for 9, so.
So 9 times 5, $4,500 to go to the
$4,500.
shade tree fund.
Yes.
And we'll plant some trees with that.
Yes, correct.
Appreciate it. I will make a motion to approve that. Any second?
Second.
Or, hold on, I'm sorry. Any public comment, Ryan? No? Anybody? Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your time.
You're
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I have no idea. Yeah. All right, Ryan, you're up.
In front of the packed house. I like it.
All right, so first is Parks Run Lane, Ryan.
Yep.
Removal of dead trees.
Yep.
Tell us what the project is and.
Along the back of the property here, they have a line of white spruce that are all dying from needle cast. And they're trying to strengthen the screen back there, so they want to remove those white spruce and plant green giants. They're taking out right now 10 trees, and they're discussing between 10 and 15, all depending on the size of the new trees coming in. They wanted to go with green giants just because they feel that's going to be a more successful plant in that back area, and the resident likes the look of them, so.
And those trees that are coming out, they're all smaller?
Yeah, 6 to 9 inches, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. And you're replacing with?
Yeah,
They're all
exactly,
decaying.
yeah. Yeah.
This-
Now, the neighbor behind has a beautiful stand of Norway spruce that are not getting disrupted at all. This is just going to help fill in some of the voids that have developed from the white spruce kind of being up against them. The picture's not really clear. I wish it was a little better. But the white spruces are very small. The Norway spruce behind are the dominant plants, so they just want to strengthen their side of things. So,
Got it. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good. And Ryan, you're for
Yep.
this one too.
yep.
Now, did you do a clearing permit? Like, did you have to
I was
go pay
asked,
for this, or is it just a, just a
I
hazard?
submitted a clearing permit, and we submitted the check as well for $250
Okay.
over at, for Abrams Lane. All of the trees that are mentioned in here are either in severe decline or have extensive decay within their structures. They're older white birch, and I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. So these are the general locations. These are the general locations right here. And I have a general layout and pictures of the trees. So, like I said, all of them either have large dead sections, trees are all kind of beyond salvage, and the homeowner just wants to get them out to start cleaning up the property. I don't know who's aware of it, but the property, needs some tidying up, if I may. So.
I have no questions, and these are leading into why I asked to have 7D put in, because these are, I know the property, I used to work there. Everything was in bad shape 10 years ago. I actually know the person buying the property, I'm very familiar with it, and I think something like this should be a hazard tree report, because the trees are dead and dying. But according to our ordinance, anything over 5 trees has to be a clearing permit.
That's correct,
so-
and I was going to ask that we correct that in the
Yeah,
future.
so that's why,
It's made for anybody coming in, putting in a pool, addition, new property, dwelling, whatever it might be, and if you're clearing more than 5 trees, obviously it triggers a clearing permit.
Right.
In cases where Mr. Day's in front of us, where it's a landscape improvement, probably should be exempt from the clearing permit, and maybe we set a like a landscape clearing permit where they don't have to do, because by way of the clearing permit, Ryan would have to submit 5 copies of engineered plans, okay? It would cost more than the actual tree work. The survey, all the replacement plan, landscape plan by a registered, landscape architect, all that good stuff. So really, this is, not fair as it pertains to tree guys and landscapers.
And they had to pay a fee of $250 to take down dead trees. So, but I'll open it up to anybody else for this project. Anybody have any comments or questions?
No.
Nothing? Okay, I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Ryan.
Have a great night.
You too.
Me too.
Okay, next up is 7A PHS Spring Tree Planting Tree Inspection. I don't think anything was done with that.
Yeah, I mean,
There's some trees, actually a neighbor of mine had a tree planted, and I think it was dead when it went in. And I heard that West Wayne Cemetery, their trees are dead too, from what I heard. They were probably, Frank said that he sent an email out today or yesterday. All those trees are dead that we planted from the PHS, but they were probably, there was a mix-up with planting. So some trees we were on hold to plant, and they may have sat too long
yeah, I
and
think
died.
they sat too long, yeah.
So I think that's what happened. There was a mistake that nobody could correct. Nothing could be done about it.
Yeah, as we know, I mean, the logistics of pulling these plantings off sometimes.
Yeah, it's
you know,
amazing.
It's a lot. And I also did get a couple of notes from residents on, not necessarily all dead. There was one maybe that was dead, but a couple, they were just curious what to do with. A lot of them shot up a couple of feet, which is great, but young trees, they need some additional support. But yeah, I think we just had a couple sit too long.
Yeah, so
But yeah, I mean, coming up in the fall, we'll just make sure we have everything a lot more locked. Maybe we, have a meeting about the planting, almost like a site meeting with the planters beforehand. Say, you need to be here at this date and time, and we kind of just go over everything together.
maybe we could have it as an agenda item at a
Mhm.
meeting and see if they'd be willing to come and put it as the first item on the agenda. And then we just review what the plan is.
We could do that. I was thinking more so just meeting at the Township building at the Public Works shop,
That's fine too.
and
Yeah.
just say, hey, if you want to help, you got to be here at this
Gotcha.
time this day, and
Yeah,
just go
sounds
over
good.
everything.
That's good for Ricky? Yeah. Beautiful. Sounds good.
Because I remember speaking with Steve Gantz from All Seasons. He'd show up, and there was a couple people like, nah, I don't want the tree now. Remember, Seth, I think I called, there was one or two. How are we handling that going
So,
forward?
I mean, it varies from season to season. So the challenge is this. So we try and stake as close to the planting as possible so that the stakes don't walk or whatever. Some homeowners aren't home, so we leave a stake and a flyer with what to do. Some of us try and follow up and go back, but as you know, we can't be going back a ton of times. So, there are a couple of residents that have second thoughts and cancel, and there's just unlimited scenarios that you can think of. So I think it's more of just setting expectations. And, my advice to the planters was always just, if you can't find the stake, pick up the phone, call the homeowner. All their phone numbers are in the sheet that we give them. And if they can't get a hold of them, they just move on and then drop the rest of the trees at the Public Works building, and then we just figure out where to plant them later. So we'll make sure we make that clear next time, because it is a challenge. It absolutely is.
Yeah, and Frank had to, I think, email a handful of people because of
Yeah, there was some
different trees that were
species-
coming in, so he did a lot of work to,
Species mix-up. Yeah.
to get things going.
But that's why I think, if we get everyone to meet at Public Works and we just kind of collectively, I think we've gotten comfortable with the process that we've had, which is good because, it can be a little bit more efficient, but just getting back to let's round everybody up and make sure everybody's clear.
Sounds good. And I guess if anybody else contacts the township, maybe we can put them on a list for the fall.
That's kind of how I've been handling it.
Yeah.
The maintenance of the tree is, the responsibility of the homeowner, which I do mention that in the communications that we send out of watering tips and post-care. But, of course, we want to make sure these things, thrive and survive. So we'll do everything we can. But, we can't replace the tree until the fall,
Right.
if that's an option.
Got it. All right, I'm going to move on to, unless anybody else wants to add anything. Nobody. 7B, I asked for this to be on there. Wayne Business District, that sidewalk project and the street trees, that was done like pre-COVID, right, John? And a lot of those trees are dying. On 30, and I know there's a lot on 30. Another project where the library is, that new parking lot. There's a lot of Japanese maples. They're dying. So my thought was, because I was up there over the weekend and was looking at them, if we could do an inventory or something. I don't know what the easiest way to go about it is. What's that? You can do it. And then do an inventory of those trees that were planted, and we can start replanting in the fall.
Yep.
Because they look horrible.
So what I'll do is, what I recommend is I'll do an inventory like mid-July or July to see what actually succumbs from last year and this early summer, and then we'll know exactly what's going to flourish and what's going to reach mortality.
And we'll include that project, the Wayne Business District
Correct.
project, and then can you include that parking lot as well?
Correct.
where
The one with the
stormwater?
library is, the one that's like a strip there.
Yeah,
between-
where
yep.
the new stormwater
Yep,
went
yep,
in.
Yep,
And I think by July, you'll see what's gone and what's not.
absolutely.
Those mature sycamores out in front of Rosalie and Wayne Prez haven't leafed out yet. They look.
No, and Mr. Ledgerton from Parks and Rec knows about it.
Okay.
We're going to be removing them soon.
It's very surprising because I feel like they were
did
great last year. Yeah.
We had a tough year.
Just
last year.
remember, we started September, I think it was like 8th, and went till Thanksgiving with a drought.
Yeah.
And then we went into a very cold, desiccating wind and winter structure. And a lot of trees failed. I mean, swamp white oaks all over, especially younger ones, were totally devastated by the drought and the winter winds.
And
It-
sycamores can be a
there's-
little fickle. Yeah. Okay.
And it is a street tree, so it's like, I always felt, and maybe 10 years out of some street trees in these conditions, they'll last. So the Perodia, though, that you chose, John, they're doing really well.
I love that. It's a hardy
Yeah.
tree.
So they're all along
Yeah.
North Wayne Avenue. They're
Where,
doing really good.
Where Christopher's stuff is,
Christopher's and up in
they're
that
doing
area,
excellent.
yeah.
We just pruned them this winter, so.
So maybe
I'm gonna-
some more of those, and,
Yep.
we love the oaks and everything, but
Are we okay with going a little bit of, and again, there's going to be some discussions in the near future here regarding capacity with diversity, meaning not planting all natives, because you need that non-native fashion, because they're more resilient, people are saying. So the USDA and stuff is actually changing their tune. They're going to do like a 70-30 mix for diversity. So what about like a fastigiate, like Princeton Century ginkgo?
Yeah.
Things that are bulletproof. I mean, you got to remember, these are very tough conditions.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Well, if you can make recommendations when you do it.
So I'm going to
I'd
be there.
imagine a lot of
I put it in my calendar for the 16th of July if somebody would like to meet with me and walk and do the inventory, show you the software, and
Sounds good. All right, perfect. And then, once we had the report back, that would be like August?
well, before that, by the end of the
Before
month,
that?
end of July,
So
yeah.
by August, we'd have all the information and we
To
can
go out to
make
bid,
a-
or if we're
Yeah.
gonna put landscape size, or we're gonna do it as part of our fall planting, whatever way you wanna do it.
Gotcha, all right. Anybody have anything to add?
I mean, I guess there's gonna be a cost for removal, or Public Works are they small enough for you guys
So,
to
just
handle?
from driving around and seeing the trees that you're talking about and talking to Steve, I'm thinking this is probably going to be something that is going to be, probably get bidded out. It's probably
Okay.
going to be over the 7,500. I mean, just driving down 30 where you mentioned in front of the church and going up North Wayne, there's plenty of trees. And now, James threw in also what happened at the project on next to the library. And just to throw this one out there too, because I think a resident had reached out about this and we're putting it on the Shade Tree Commission's plate. There are some dead cherry trees on Morris Avenue. So if John knows about that, we had conversations. So if we are going to look into that, I know you guys have a budget, it's not unlimited. But if you want to tackle that center of Wayne, however many trees may pop up there, the stormwater project, how many trees died there, and now I'm throwing on Morris Road, you might want to see how much you could bite off. This might be something that has to go before the board and see what they feel, depending on the price that all these trees would come up to. Just
Remember, Matt Golis's design was those Japanese maples down there. We gotta honor that. I'm not gonna be the one to tell them we're changing it. I'm gonna blame James.
I have no problem
Or Seth,
keeping it, but.
or the whole committee.
I don't want to see dead ones in there.
How many dead ones are there, or declining ones on Mars? Yeah. Oh, Mars.
So Morris is Morris would be an offline discussion.
Got it. But I'm okay with allocating some fall trees to whatever we need to do. It's just a matter of what species we can get is really what it's gonna come down to.
Correct, yeah. That's going to be the problem.
An A, B, or C. An A, B, or C, and whatever the nursery can get us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it, historically, is it more expensive when you go out to bid rather than just calling somebody up to do it? Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. That's a great question. To do the exercise, maybe we can get like the ones on 30 and in the Wayne district itself and send a work order over and see if Ford can give us a price for those, right?
Well, the one thing I will say is if it's a project coming, we can't piecemeal it. So say, you're going to do, just take the Wayne Business District. So if we go up and John, gets his orders, which we've already talked to him before about going up and looking at all these trees. If we know that Lancaster Avenue and Wayne Avenue has dead trees, we can't just do Lancaster Avenue, just to save money to avoid having to go to bid. I can't see it being a bid process, because that has to be 25,000 in order for something to go to bid.
Oh, gotcha.
So I can't see
Yeah.
that going that far. And before that, the commissioners might want to see 3 quotes. They might be fine with us just going to, use a contractor that we've already used before. But definitely when it comes to bidding, that's only if we reach a certain threshold that we have to, bid something out and ask for permission
Gotcha.
to do that.
And just to keep in mind, I think piecemealing it, I would say just tree removal is one part, planting another. Ooh, you all right, John?
He just broke Bill White's chair. It's like, no, it's not his chair.
Because for the tree removals, it's in the business district. You need to have a company with a certified arborist on staff. So if you're going with a landscape company to plant, they might not always have a certified arborist to take the trees down. So I think you have to kind of do 2 sections anyway, most of the time, right? Unless you can find a company that has a certified arborist.
But the total might be grouped together, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's a
And I
project.
think with the company that we've used before to do our jobs at several places throughout the township, John is the township arborist. So he acts as that arborist on the job to say, this is what you're doing. and they just go out and plant according to his instructions.
I got you. Okay. The inspector, yeah. I actually think that the company, if a homeowner needs a arborist, it should be the same for whoever works for the township, not using, because we can't use John at our house. Is it?
Yeah, we do. Residents will ask sometime when it comes to trees and situations, and they'll say, oh, I have something that, a tree I'd like to get looked at. And I was like, well, we have an arborist. And they're like, well, can we use them? And I was like, if you're going to pay, the township isn't paying for you to use them, but we have to pay him to go out and look at our trees. So it's the same if he goes.
Oh, so the contractor, again, well,
Yeah.
this is an offline discussion, but, all right. There's one other thing, and I just went offline. I guess that's it. I'm not gonna try to remember it. All right, anybody else want to add to the Wayne planting? Nobody? Get rid of this, right? Okay. So July 16th, you're gonna look at the trees, then you'll report back, and then we'll get stuff going. All right, thanks. What's next? Management of trees in the right-of-way. Is this Kristen?
Yes, this would be me. So I had already shared this with Ricky in response to what he has shared with us, with Matt Gollett, with what Matt shared with us too. So what we're talking about is who's responsible for the planting, maintenance, removal of what we're calling street trees or trees in the right-of-way. And it's a complex issue because, for example, builders, developers have to put the trees in, right? That's part of the requirement. And there's other situations where somebody else puts it in. And I think in order to actually come up with an ordinance or a policy that meets sort of all of the objectives of taxpayers, homeowners, township, I think we need clarity first. And this is what I said to Ricky, because if you just search the township site for the terms right-of-way and street tree, you get nothing. And then you have to go to the E360 codes and then, search again. And it's not clear, really, that there is a policy for street trees, how they're managed. So I think to get to that, I've asked for just some additional clarity because, we talk about street trees and then you say trees in the right-of-way, and then the right-of-way is different depending on what kind of street you live on, and then the measurement of the cartway and the right-of-way, right? So it's a lot.
So the ISA, ANSI standards define a street tree as follows. A street tree in general is defined as a tree planted in a public right-of-way, typically within a sidewalk or planting strip. This means it's located on public property rather than on private property. That's ISA standards of definition.
Which I think would be different than what we have in our own materials. I could share the document with you because I just tried to do a lot of research first to see what is it currently, and it's really confusing. It's circuitous in many, so we'll say, this is a street tree, it's in the right-of-way, and then you look for a right-of-way definition, and it's complete. They're not listening anyway. So that's all. I'm just suggesting that we get some more clarity, and I had also shared with Ricky some data that I think would be helpful as we move forward to just see what the implications might be if we decide certain policies. Is that fair? Everybody has seen it.
Yeah, updating the definitions is probably good. I think it all comes back to cost of, management, right?
Right.
Is really what it is. Which I know we've done a couple of analyses on before. And it's going to require a big, really campaign to pull off something to make this a reality. So, I think it's a conversation that we need to continue and talk about, but I agree. I mean, let's start with providing clarity around what we've got today and put together a pathway to get to
Yeah.
maintenance.
I mean, Ricky, even if you could just sort of share back with us, sort of like in certain situations, let's say regarding a street tree, this is the policy, this is the ordinance, this is how it would be handled. So I was saying, like, just what are the SOPs involved? So if a resident makes a call to the township and says, there's a gigantic tree on my road and I'm afraid it's going to fall, what happens, you know?
Well, depending on the road, we get a phone call.
And I know you don't have to answer it now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, you know, for example, if those SOPs exist as a process or guidance, just if you could share it back with us, then we can inform ourselves anyway a little better. What?
I'm going to add in here.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
John's definition from ISA, I think, clears up a lot of stuff, I believe. What is street tree? Are you looking at street tree definition in the ordinance?
Well, in the ordinance, it
Uh-huh.
says any tree on any public property or public street or highway in Radnor Township. Okay,
Okay.
but
And
everybody, different streets have different
right away.
categories.
Yeah, and then there's the state
right?
trees where we don't get involved at all.
Right, so from the center of that street, right, the cartway, then the right-of-way will be different in size.
Correct.
So it depends on where one lives, where is the property. So we have to have that, you know, like if someone calls and says, you know, this is where I live, or if someone's saying, whose responsibility is a street tree? Well, it depends, because most people do not know what the actual distance is from their curb in. Right,
Correct.
It's not clear
known.
anywhere.
And if you went and asked probably Trish or somebody, they would not know either because there's so many streets. So you have to look it up.
You can
You
look
do.
it up.
You can look it up.
And I
Right.
have looked it up, but it took a lot of work to
Right.
find it all and put it, that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
it's so confusing.
Well, maybe,
We need
I
clarity.
mean, how did you find it?
I
For
searched,
Each street? Is it
Oh.
for each street or for?
well, here, so,
you can search on the Delaware County Public
well,
Tax Records.
I did a lot of different, yeah, I searched our township site in the search bar, which comes up with almost nothing. And then I searched the E360, and then somehow I found these dimensions. Pennsylvania Department of PennDOT is expressways, major collectors, minors, local streets, cul-de-sac, and then, this is not for our, this is just an example, but now I have, these are the actual categories. So major collectors, Bryn Mawr Avenue, blah, 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 minor collectors. So I listed it out. This was like my research document.
So those are, I think, more guidance, but you have to actually look at the tax map that shows the outline of your deeded property, which you can look through Delaware County.
So maybe we
This
just
is
put that,
as- This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
but-
already a complicated topic of
Yeah, but
who's-
we could
who's
describe and
responsible.
clarify a lot of this, yeah.
I think that would be great, you know, and I like the diagram. This is not our diagram, but I think it does a good job of explaining
Yeah.
where a tree needs to be considered a street tree or tree in the right of way. We don't even have that.
Yeah, I like
Right?
that. Yeah, I think we
So-
should collect all this and,
Yeah, so before we try to
Update it.
say, okay, this is how we should handle it, I think we should clarify what the heck we're really talking about and in what scenarios. Right, is it only residential, is it only this kind of road, or, you know what I'm saying?
If I could jump in for a sec, I just, everything that Kristen's saying, I think we can get deeper into the weeds if if the committee so chooses. But I think all of this information, what is that?
I said, no, let's get out of the weeds.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, let's get out of the weeds
I
and
think
just
if
make it
the
simple.
initial conversation, how this came about was the township wanted to ask a question, the commissioners in specific,
Mm-hmm.
whether we should be involved in right-of-way trees.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a blanket statement where they just want to know what's your opinion as a committee. Should we handle this or shouldn't we? if you say, yes, we should, then I think it's good to have this deep dive and make sure all of the definitions are understood.
But I'm
if-
saying I don't think we can even answer the question because it's not clear in, like, what are all the scenarios? So can we just say blanket, yes, we should? Well, then it's going to say, well, what about in this kind of street? Or what about this kind of highway or this kind of zoning?
Well,
right?
the township only takes care of right-of-way trees. So whatever street you're talking about that belongs to the township, we only take care of the trees on those streets. If you're talking about Conestoga Road, Lancaster Avenue.
Well, I
we-
personally don't know what you mean by those streets in the township. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, that's what
Some
I'm
streets are state
saying.
trees.
There's,
I know, but that's why I'm saying it's really hard to understand because you can't find what you're saying. Can't find it anywhere clearly in our materials. So how is anybody, whether they're a resident or a tree service company, how does anybody know?
they call.
But shouldn't it
I mean,
also then be reflected in our materials that this is
I mean, if
the
they, and that's
policy?
and that's part of a suggestion that can be made to the board. So if you say, we would like, because honestly, this is the first time out, we've never had, with all the calls that we get, whether it's myself, the park supervisor, or Ms. Leah, nobody really asks. If they say somebody calls from Conestoga Road, which they normally don't, we'll tell them that's a state road. We don't do any tree work on that. You have to call the state, and we'll direct them to the state. The state has their own right-of-way list. We don't even know their numbers for their road. So Darby Paoli, the trees that they take care of, we don't know what their right-of-way list is. They don't make it public. I asked for a copy. They said, we don't give that out. But if you ask me, sometimes with John, we'll have a tree on a road and I'll say, okay, can you at least help me speed up? Because we're getting phone calls about a particular tree that looks dangerous. Can you give me the date or give me the measurements? I'll go out and measure it. And if it's outside of that, it's yours, or it's ours, or the homeowner.
Right, and
So-
that, what you just explained there, at that situation, would be a great thing to have as a resource to say, in a situation like this, this is how it's handled right now. And then we can say, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or it doesn't make sense. Right, that's,
Whatever you and the committee decide as a group, I can definitely take it back to, Mr. White and see what direction he wants to go. But in regards to just if you don't feel like you can move forward with answering that question, I'll give you all the information I have in regards to
Okay.
how we navigate
that would be great.
right-of-way trees.
That would be great.
It's actually very simple. Every road has a different measurement, and unless you have the list, you won't know what the numbers are. So we normally don't just give it to people, because the one thing we don't want is people going out, walking in the street, measuring their own trees. Because at the end, I still have to call the township arborist, and we will still have to go out and measure, because we have to make sure it's in there. In the right of way. It's not, I can give you the numbers, Kristen, and now you go out and measure your tree, and you call and say, hey, the township has to take down this tree. It's in the right of way. And we're like, all right, we'll come out and we'll measure, and we'll determine that it is, because we have to give him direction in order to go out and do it. A resident can't measure the tree and then give him direction.
Anything you can share as far as current state and the way we're doing things would be awesome. If you just want to send it to me, I can parse through it too.
Okay, it's going to be short and sweet. It's just going to be exactly what I just said.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you want me to send,
I mean, if we have links, if we have anything.
No, it's just the process that was given. Like, it's not that.
Transparency, clarity and transparency
Ricky,
is
it's
kind
sort
of
of
what
on
I'm
a-
asking for.
It's on an individual basis, really. It's just on a rolling individual basis, because John or you or somebody has to go out anyway and double check it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Trish one time because I had to find the right of way for our own house. If you go to Trish, she pulls up some sort of sheet or something that has, and she had to go find it because I guess it doesn't happen often. But she finds a sheet, it'll tell you what the right of way is. I guess what Kristen's saying is you have that we can see every street. Is there a file? Or
It's just
a
a
paper
list
list?
of the roads in the township with the numbers on it. That just says whether it's township owned, state owned, and it has
And it has
the numbers on it.
the thing. So it's like a paper list. And so I guess you would want,
I'm just asking for anything you can share that will give us some clarity.
Yeah, I can give you the list. It doesn't look like that diagram that you had. All it is numbers and street names. That's all it is.
And could that be put on the website legitimately or no?
I don't have a problem with that. I'll talk to the township manager and Lee's.
I wouldn't, because people actually, they don't know where the middle of the street is, where they're measuring.
Right.
The number isn't like half of the street size, like, there's a calculation to it, so I think you're just
So
creating
I think the
more.
best process is to call up, like you said, if you want to know. So we could put that somewhere so people know, call the township, they'll tell you where the right of
Whatever,
way is.
right.
Or take Seth's suggestion and look on the website, the Delaware County
Well,
website.
I just think
and
we
get
should
that.
make it as easy as we can for both residents and tradespeople, whoever, is to just make it easier, and so they don't have to call and say, I have no idea what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we
Unfortunately-
couldn't find it on the website at all, I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
It was
I don't know.
surprising to
Again,
me.
I would have to check with the township manager and also John Rice to see if that's, because people will go out and start measuring their trees. That's
No,
just the
I'm
reality.
I'm not suggesting that we do anything other than if you can share any additional information that you know of that I probably don't, that'd be awesome. If you just
Okay.
send it to me, then I will.
All right, I think
Work
what
on
would
this a
probably be
little bit.
best if you send me a list of all your questions, and I could answer them. Because, I mean, if I just tell you how we go about doing it.
I don't know what I don't know. I'm asking for any kind of procedures, processes that you have in place
Okay.
situationally for a street tree. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, we're going to move into the next one, which is something I added. For the clearing permits, we had the two properties that had dead, dying trees, and the ordinance says now that any 6 or more trees, so I wanted to see if we could add living or healthy, 6 or more living or healthy trees to the ordinance. That way, people don't have to pay a clearing permit fee, which I don't think they should. And then it's just a hazardous tree report, like anybody that has a dead tree on their property.
I think this makes total sense. My only comment would be just to have the solicitor look at this, and he probably would anyways, to put together the amendment. But there might need to be additional clarification on, yes, these are living healthy, but then how does that impact the dead trees or hazardous trees? Just a thought.
Understood. And I've never done an ordinance before. What was the process you went through when because you've done this before, so.
Yeah, so, run it by John and Ricky, just to make sure, if they have any comments.
And then the amendments go to John Rice
Yep,
for
and they
review.
go to Rice, and it'll be introduced, and then it will be adopted.
By the board.
There's a delay in between, yeah.
Gotcha. So do we need any approval tonight to get this,
Your approval would be to move it forward.
to move forward?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, John, do you see anything else adding to this? I said healthy living, but I don't know if that's.
I think it still has to have, the township has to be notified because the residents are still gonna call when there's a tree company that's out and clearing a property, and we still need to know if the neighbor doesn't know if the tree's dead or not, or alive, so John still needs to check them out.
I understand that. That's why when we do a hazard tree report, I assume John takes a look at that
Correct.
and you go
So
ahead
they
and
would still
approve
do
it.
a
So you're
hazardous
still
tree
looking at it.
You have to remember something, and it's very important, that most clearing permits that come in front of us are building related, an addition, a pool, whatever it might be. Very rarely, and I probably count on both my hands how many we've had in the last 10 years. Very minimal. I mean, I couldn't believe we had 2 in one night.
Yeah.
So when they do come, maybe we call it like a landscape clearing permit or whatever, because a lot of times what's going to happen is, as Ryan Day came in front of us tonight, it's to put new, fresh trees in for a different objective, okay? So they might be removing the dead, white spruce, but they're putting in brand-new arborvitaes, green giants. A landscape architect might be coming in to rehab an entire property, and maybe there's, 15 arborvitaes that they're removing and putting in southern magnolias. Still would need it would still trigger a clearing permit, but not the clearing permit that we're used to. with all the plans, engineering, and all that stuff.
I understand all that.
It's like a
but-
hazard permit.
And I agree with that.
Yep.
The only problem is if the new owners, which I know they're gonna do a beautiful job landscaping this, if they weren't, if somebody was coming in, they have 3 kids. They wanna get rid of the dead trees, so they should be able to. So that's why I'm thinking, just keep it simple with healthy or living trees.
Right, healthy or living.
And then,
Just call it a landscape renovation clearing permit or something.
whatever. So can you work with me on that or something, and then? And so if we get a motion to move forward with that, you can work with us, send it to the solicitor, and then we can vote on it then, is it? And then it goes to the
It
board?
goes to the board to move forward, and then it's introduced, and then it's adopted.
Gotcha.
So this is like a multi-month process.
But once we get back from the solicitor with verbiage, it would come back here to just, we approve that, or does it need to?
It would have to come back in front of you, approve it, and then it will go to the board.
Then
And
it
one
goes
of
to the
one
board
of
for
you
their
folks
process.
would go to the board to present it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the only thing I want to throw a step in there before it goes to Rice, it first has to go to the township manager.
Yeah, township manager.
So,
Gotcha.
I was going to ask, is there anything else that anybody else was thinking of suggesting that we try to change, that we want to maybe then lump it together? Was there anything else?
Nothing else for me in that section of the ordinance.
No, I don't mean necessarily even just that section.
I wouldn't know because I haven't
Okay, I'm just asking.
thought about it yet.
Okay, just for convenience.
The most success that I've had is just keep it simple. When we try and group too much together, then it just spirals.
Okay.
But if we have any short and sweet updates that we'd like to make,
That's what I was
Add that in.
asking.
if the timing works, throw it in. If it doesn't, I wouldn't hold it up just for that.
All right, so if anybody finds anything that they want to
Okay.
make, we can get back to John with that, and we'll have it ready for the next meeting. Sound good?
Mhm.
All right, so we do have to approve it, that,
Yeah, just a motion to move
so
forward.
I'll make a motion to move forward. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
New business, anybody under new business?
Nothing.
Anybody have nothing? I'm sure I have something, but nothing here. Email list. That was with Frank, so we'll wait. All right, number 9, hazardous trees. John, anything on that? Resident hazardous tree removals? All good. Trees removed by the township? All good. Any public participation? None. Okay, so make a motion to adjourn. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I tried to do it by 8.